Den of Geek fans, Aaron Sagers here at New York Comic Con 2019. And I'll tell you what, it is a scary good con because I am joined by Rich Cos, a.k.a. Svengoolie, and also Dan DiDio, a.k.a. publisher of DC Comics. I think he's got the better title, though.
He has his card, that's for sure.
But I think that Dan is actually scarier.
Well, okay, so welcome to Comic-Con. Of course, we're here because Svengoolie this October meets the DC Universe. Svengoolie stepping into this universe, what's that all about? Why are you meeting our Justice Leaguers and entering that universe?
Well, it's very typical of most stories. You know, I'm up against a menace that I can't handle myself, and the only people who can are, of course, the Justice League.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't think Dan's a menace, but I mean, you are. I heard this story. I want you to confirm this. You actually stood in line C2E2 a couple years ago to meet. Is this true? Like, set this up.
Yeah, I mean, yes, it is true. I admit, I did stand online waiting for a Svengoolie autograph at C2E2, and as I was standing online, his producer had walked by, and we struck up a conversation. And during the conversations, he figured out that I was the publisher of DC, and he didn't move me to the front of the line. I still had to wait, but it was well worth the wait, just the same.
Well, of course, that's how we got to the Mad Magazine appearance, correct? And now we have this. So, I mean, can you say anything about this menace that you encounter?
Let me just say, take a look at this, and then magnify it several dozen times, maybe.
It's the mystery of the giant rubber chickens, as you can only imagine. And it was a lot of fun to work. And the Mad Magazine thing came together because literally every single person on the staff was a Svengoolie fan. So they started working on it before I even suggested it, which was wonderful to see. And they had a lot of fun with it. And those conversations started us, and we started talking to the people over at MeTV. And we thought it would be a fun crossover between the two, especially in this year. It's the 40th anniversary of Svengoolie show. And you're rolling that, which is spectacular, I think. And I think that longevity is something worth celebrating, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah. Well, and your hometown. Well, Chicago is honoring you for that 40th anniversary as Svengoolie coming up soon, right? And I guess, what DC superhero do you think you are most aligned with? Or clearly you're a super guy, but is it Superman? Is it Batman? Who does Svengoolie kind of get along with the most?
Well, I think Batman because of bats, maybe, but probably more the Atom, because there are many people who think I'm insignificant and go right past me.
Yeah. Well, Batman also wears eye makeup under his cowl, so that might be.
Yeah. Wait a minute, I never thought of that. I need to get a cowl now.
Okay, so Dan, for this story, are we going to see Svengoolie get any superpowers? Is he going to get a Svengoolie mobile? What's going to happen?
Svengoolie will be awesome. I think just being Svengoolie is a superpower unto its own self, if it makes sense. Just he wears people down with bad puns, without a doubt. And I think it's a lot of fun to see him interacting with the team. It was fun working together with his group, because ultimately I just helped lay out the basic outline of the story, but him and his producer Jim came in and put all the dialogue in and put all the bad jokes in and figured out the pacing and the timing, and I just think it really just captured everything wonderful about the show, and it's fun to be seeing that. So the way people could read it is actually done in 2-page segments. Every 2 pages will be every week within the DC universe, so it'll take you 4 weeks to get the entire series, or if you're here at the show, you can pick up one of the special custom comics we created that we'll be handing out on our panel later on today.
Gotta get one of those.
Yeah.
Well, of course. Oh, sorry. Chicken got in the way. That happens sometimes, I guess. Well, okay, Chris Jones, who did the artwork on this, what was it like when you first seen these pages come through and you're like, hey, that's me next to a superhero? What was that reaction?
It just blew me away. It was amazing. I'm looking at it, it's like, wait a minute, there I am with Wonder Woman. Oh my gosh. And Chris Jones did a fantastic job. I've been telling people, he really caught a lot of my expressions and even my less than perfect posture. And he did such a great job, and I'm very proud of being in that book like that.
That's right. You alongside Wonder Woman is going to make Steve Trevor very jealous. I mean, well, I was thinking about crossovers like this. And I think, I don't know, Dan, I want to get your reaction. I think this is on the level of maybe like when Superman met Lucy, and I Love Lucy. I mean, is there anything else on this level? What other crossover have we seen like this?
Wow, I didn't think of the Lucy crossover. That's a pretty good one. I went to Colonel Sanders in our Kentucky Fried Chicken multiverse story, but I think the Lucy show probably is the one that is the pinnacle here. I think you're right.
Oh, chicken again. This chicken.
This chicken wants to be part of the interview.
Okay, so I mean, Svengoolie, of course, you're also going to be, people know you, people love you. I think amongst like the fans, aside from Dan, we've got Mark Hamill is a big fan of yours, Bill Hader. Who else am I missing? Who else like comes to you and says like
Gilbert Gottfried is a big fan. Gilbert is a big fan of mine. But Jamie Farr. There's so many people, and it's always just amazing because people whose work I really enjoyed like my work, and that's so flattering.
Well, I mean, my age, which I'm not going to say on camera, I mean, I grew up with Svengoolie. I grew up with it, watching it as well. I mean, is this do you also view this as an opportunity to, kind of get Svengoolie in front of like a younger generation as well, like these new kids?
I think it will, definitely. I think that maybe there's some people who just aren't aware of the show. And we're on now in 96% of the country. We're on every Saturday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. And the nice thing is we already have a pretty sizable kids audience because we have families that watch together. And I think that's pretty cool because how many shows do families actually get together and watch together?
Yeah.
So we've got a pretty sizable audience of a lot of different demographics, and this can only help. It'll fill in some of the cracks of people who maybe haven't discovered us yet.
Mm-hmm. What was your favorite Svengoolie movie, episode, favorite memory of Svengoolie?
Oh gosh, it's hysterical because I always love all the interstitial material. The songs are fun, and I'm always amazed about just how they work the entire movie into the song, which I think is really great. But what I really enjoy is I really love the interstitial material because it's funny at times, it's punny at times, but also it's informational because you get this background and all the actors and characters that I think just helps enrich the entire experience of watching the movie and gives it that extra value. And I have to confirm something too. One of the reasons why we really enjoy doing this crossover is because MeTV and Svengoolie has a family audience, and I think that's the way people enjoy their comics today too, and the kids, getting it in front of the kids. That's how I became a horror fan, watching the horror hosts of New York during the time. So it's kind of fun to see this still being kept alive, and hopefully in a way to introduce a new generation to horror movies as well as comic books.
It's the same thing as, kids who love comics have grown up now, and they have their own kids, and they've kind of, been the link to that. It's the same thing. Kids who watch my show, one of the things people say to me is, I used to watch you when I was a kid, and now I watch with my kids. So it's kind of, passing the torch to the next generation, and it's a nice thing. It means I'll still have a job.
All right, well, we're wrapping up. Just want to say you guys have a great New York Comic Con. Looking forward to Svengoolie meets the DC Universe. And also happy anniversary, 40 years. Can you send us off with a Svengoolie line? Just say goodbye.
I have a store?